brought to you by our friends of the British Council. Hey everybody, Matt McCarthy for Rugby Wrap-Up here at the Fantasy Sports Network Studio 34 on West 35th Street in New York City in the Rockin' Riley's bar built into the Renaissance Hotel. And we have a dandy of our show, an all-star cast here in the studio, but we've also got a fine man calling in from Memphis, Tennessee via Skype, and we're going to go to him right now, Mr. Shane Young. Shane, I'm going to introduce you and the audience to our panel. Shane, we've got Wayne Morris of the Aviva Premiership with us. He's the CSR direction guy, but we're not sure what CSR. Wayne, what is CSR?
Not one direction. Corporate social responsibility.
Of course.
Why not?
Of course it is. He's a dashing Welshman, killing it in England. We've got Mr. Dallen Stanford over here of the Rugby Corner. He's also the Director of Partnerships for the Friends of the British Council, and we're going to be extra nice to him because he is one of our sponsors. And we've got the Elite Sevens coach, Champagne Socialist of Rugby, and all things good about rugby, Mr. Stephen Lewis from Scotland. So we've got a Welshman, a Scot, a South African, an American, and an American. So we got a nice little mix for you. Sir, if I'm not mistaken, you are a hard-nosed rugger that moved to Memphis in the America's Teachers Program. What was that program?
So, yeah, it was called Teach for America. It still is called Teach for America. Actually, their headquarters are not too far from where you are right now. And they just select college graduates from all over the country, whether you majored in education or studied something else, and they send you into an area of the country with a struggling education system, and they, charge you with fixing it. And so we became teachers then in 2012 here in Memphis. And, we've been given a big gift in our life, which is the sport of rugby. And we said, how can we not pass it on to kids who really need it?
All right. So it's through that program that you and Devin O'Brien met. And if I'm not mistaken, you guys were in the teachers program. He's from Colby College in Maine. You're from Florida Gulf University. And the two of you just ended up in Memphis. And because you were on that Facebook group with that teaching group, you saw that you both played rugby, you met, and boom, you start rugby in the school that Devin is teaching at, which is 98% black and 2% Hispanic. Is that accurate? Something along those lines?
That more reflects the population that we serve today. His school was actually very diverse, but the students we serve today, there's just under 200 of them, and it is 98% African American, 2% Hispanic. Minority populations in one of the areas of the country most devastated by poverty, we actually rank number one in child poverty, which is a big problem in the city, and it's illustrated, and you could notice it and see it everywhere in everything that happens in the city of Memphis. And we feel like rugby, when used properly in the education system, can really move the needle on poverty and help give kids opportunities in life that they deserve. And it did all start with a Facebook interaction. Devin had a rugby group in his Facebook picture, and I noticed that. I said, hey, let's throw a ball around. I don't know anybody in Memphis. He doesn't know anybody in Memphis. We just wanted to play rugby. But then we ended up realizing the potential we had just by offering it to the kids that he taught at his school.
All right, so the program is the Memphis Inner City Rugby Program, correct?
Correct. Correct.
And that program, you and Devin are two white guys. And I know you look tough on it when you're on the rugby pitch, but you look more like you work at Google right now. And I've seen photos of you with glasses. And, Devin doesn't exactly, he looks like a rugby player on the rugby field. But how did you guys walk into that environment and get street cred? A, and B, get street cred?
Well, it's even more than a street cred. It's like adjusting to the southern United States, right? We're in the deep south here. And even though I went to school in Florida, I'm from New Jersey. Devin's from New York. So we're not only just two white guys, but both from the Northeast, and so much different culture than there is in the Deep South. And from jump, we just had to commit to being really authentic, really genuine in every interaction we had with parents, with administrators at schools, with teachers, with any stakeholder in the community. And then there's the kids, right? And these are the ones you really need to earn the respect of. And, it doesn't come easy. So Devin and I just had to be super authentic. Everything we said to the kids, had to be real. Every promise we made, we had to keep. Every practice, game, workout thing we asked them to appear at, we could never take a day off. We really had to put our money where our mouth was and deliver a really quality program to these schools and these kids. And throughout the course of really just 6 months, they start to realize, man, these guys are for real. They're offering us something meaningful, and this sport is awesome. So once they get to play rugby and get the ball in their hands and get going and tackling each other, our street cred doesn't matter. They love the sport, and that does all the talking for us. And then they also happen to like us, too, after 6 years.
Well, that's awesome. So now it's 6 years into the program. How many kids do you have now that are in the program, and how many kids that you have had basically graduate from the program that have gone on to college?
So we've maintained a 100% graduation rate and a 100% acceptance rate into college. We serve just under 200 kids now, and we've sent hundreds more than that off into colleges. 9 of them have accepted actual rugby scholarships, which is like a sort of touchy subject in American rugby right now, right? Because they come in different forms, and some small schools offer foundation scholarships. Some of the schools' actual, governing bodies contribute money to the programs, and we're just trying to traverse through all that to help our kids get the opportunities they deserve and that they earn. We have some real talent here in Memphis, and we want to capitalize on that for our kids, but we also want American rugby to capitalize on it. So we've had hundreds of wonderful kids come to the program, and the top half of them are really taking rugby to the next level for themselves and for the schools they're going to.
Well, that is all awesome. But we have to go. But I want to touch upon what you have here in New York City, your short film / documentary, and how folks can help.
Sure. So next week, a week from today, Tuesday night, we're going to be at MKTG hosting MICR's first ever gala event. It's a big fundraiser and a big party to celebrate our achievements and what we've done over the past 6 years in Memphis, Tennessee. We will have Todd Cleaver there, captain of USA Rugby. We'll have John Bradshaw Layfield, a big rugby philanthropist and WWE legend. And we'll be showing the short film, The Rugby Boys of Memphis, which is an award-winning documentary featuring and telling the story of Calvin Gentry, who's one of our graduates who plays rugby at Arkansas State now. And his story is incredible and sort of reflects the stories that a lot of our young men and women go through. And it's inspiring to say the least. We'll be showing it at the documentary. We want everyone, including the young men at that table with you, Matt, to come and enjoy the night with us. And if somebody wants to help other than appearing that night, they can follow us on Facebook, Memphis Intercity Rugby, on Twitter or Instagram at MIC Rugby, and learn how they can contribute, whether that be financially or their man hours and coming to help volunteer, coach our kids. We need the help in every area. We really appreciate the platform and opportunity, Matt.
All right, you got it. And one thing I would point out, it's Todd Clever, not Cleaver. You don't want to say the wrong name to that man. He's a large man.
But he will beat me up.
Yeah. No, he won't. He'll hug you to death. Wayne, it's pretty cool what he's doing over there.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, to see the impact. We've talked about how great the game is and how many lessons we can drive to young people through the sport, and this is a brilliant example of seeing it on the ground making a real difference.
And Steve, we've got some programs in New York City, but it's cool to have Memphis coming to New York too.
Yeah, I mean, we get stuck here, and play rugby is a great example here, but you don't realize what else is going on in other parts of the country. So congrats to you.
Shane, we got to cut you off right now. We're getting yelled at by the producers downstairs, Greg Sussman and Frank Stample, but we look forward to hearing more success stories from you, and we'll see you next week, and we hope folks that are seeing this can come out and help and actually contribute online. With that, Matt McCarthy for Rugby Wrap Up here in New York, signing off.